I have been helping therapists in private practice with their bookkeeping since 2016. I created a Sole Trader Bookkeeping Template so that therapists could track their income and expenses really easily and be able to confidently complete their self-assessment each year without the stress and anxiety of worrying about where they're going to get all this information from. Since I created the template, over 200 therapists have either bought or received the template through one of my other courses, and it's one of the most popular things that I offer in my business. When I started this YouTube channel, my first ever video was talking to people about bookkeeping and showing the behind the scenes of the bookkeeping template. And we refer to that video probably weekly to people. So what I thought would be a great idea was to update the video so that I could then refer them to this video instead of sending them all the way back to 2022. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kim. I help therapists in private practice with their business systems and processes, getting them confident with admin and reducing tech overwhelm. So I'm going to stop rambling on now, and I'm going to take you straight into my computer where I'm going to show you my bookkeeping template and show you how it works so that you can feel confident in making the choice to purchase it, or you could just copy it and recreate it yourself if you would like. I am sure that you are going to find this video extremely useful. If you would like to purchase the template afterwards, you can scan this QR code, or I'll leave a link in the description below for it. If you take nothing else away from this video, then just learning how to track your revenue and expenses, then I will be super happy about that. You don't need to purchase my specific template. You can just create your own. The important thing is tracking your revenue and expenses on a monthly basis so that you don't get to the end of the tax year or when it comes to the self-assessment deadline and feel really panicked and worried about how you are going to pull all this together. So I really hope that this video can demonstrate how quick and easy it can be for you to track all of this on a monthly basis and the importance of it. So let's get straight to it. But the first thing I would say to do is when you get the template, just make a copy of it. So you can just right click and copy, right click and paste, and that will make a copy. So leave that copy alone and just leave that as your master template. You can make changes to the original one, but you know that you've always got that original copy if you ever need to go back to it. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through the template. So if we open the template, you'll see here that we have some tabs along the bottom, and it will open on the P&L. So this is your main sheet, and this is where you're going to get all your information about your income, your outgoings, your profit, how much you have taken out for yourself, and then where you can put information from your actual bank, which I'll talk you through in a moment. So that is the main sheet. And then we have these 13 tabs at the bottom here, because the UK tax year runs from the 6th of April to the 5th of April each year. So in this first tab here, you're going to put everything from the 6th, and then on April 2, you're going to put everything from the 1st to the 5th of the following year. So that's why we have two April tabs. And you can see here we've got April and then April 2 here. We also have a categories tab. These are all the categories that I have set up for you, which you can file your expenses under. And the way you do that is in the category tab, you can see there's these drop downs, and then you can select from the categories. There is also a video showing you how to add in additional categories so that they pull through into the list, and how you can add them onto the P&L as well. So if you wanted to add your own categories or different categories, then there is a video training showing you how to do that. So just to talk you through the sheet, up here we've got the tax year. So for example, if we were starting that this year, we would do 2025, 2026, just so you know which tax year you're working in. This section here is the income. So this is all of the revenue that you receive from various different sources. So I've put here counselling, we've got an other, we've got capital investment, which is any money that you invest into your own business. So let's say you're just starting a new private practice and you put in £1,000 to get started to cover some expenses like room rent or your website or something like that. you can put here that you have invested £1,000, and then when you take that £1,000 back at some point, you can take it out of the capital investment return and take that back as a taxable expense, as opposed to it coming out as an income adjustment, which I'll talk about in a moment. We also have bank interest as well, and you can see here that there is an auto sum which adds up all of these revenue sources. So if you wanted to add another one in or change the name, so for example, you could have counseling and then change this one to supervision, or you could insert a line. So you just highlight the line and insert, and it's going to insert a line above it, and then you could put supervision there, for example, and you can see here that that has now included that in the sum. What I would say is, if you do want to add anything in, just add it between counseling and bank interest, because if, for example, you add a line up here, it's not going to take that line in the sum. Obviously you can, change it to include that. You just need to make sure you do that on all the lines. So it's just easier to insert between counseling and bank interest so that you don't have to worry about all of the sums that I've set up for you. Okay, so down here we have the outgoing. So this bit here, you don't need to touch at all. As you can see, there are some formulas in each of these cells. You can delete them, so just be careful. I didn't want to lock them because this is your template and I want you to be able to make changes to it, so just be careful of that. But this is going to pull the information that you add onto each of these individual tabs here, which I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment, but you don't need to touch this at all. It's going to pull that information for you. And it's also going to work out your operating costs and your net profit, all of these where you can see these pound signs and some dashes. These all have formulas or sums in them, so it will add it up for you. Down here, we have income adjustments and tax NI payments. So if you take money out of your business, you are going to put that down here. So you could take £1,000 out of your business and you just put that there. When you are a sole trader, you are taxed on your total net profit. So the government doesn't care how much you're taking for yourself. It's going to tax you on this whole thing. So let's say your revenue is 40k and your net profit is 30k, but you only take 20k out and you leave 10k in your bank. HMRC are going to want to know that you had a total net profit of 30k, and they're going to tax you on that, not on your own money that you have drawn out of your account. So just to bear that in mind, and that's why this bit here is outside of the P&L sheet, because it's not a taxable adjustment. One thing I would highly recommend is making sure that you have a dedicated bank account for your business. So any revenue that comes into your account goes into one account, and anything that is an expense for your business comes out of that one account as well. That is going to make things much easier for you to be able to make sure that you are reporting correctly. So what we have here in this blue section is the bank balance brought forward. So what we want to know is, on the 5th of April, what was in your bank account at the end of the day? So let's say this is a brand new bank account. You can just put 0, which is what is in there now. But if you've been using your account for a while and then you're just moving on to my spreadsheet, whatever that amount is in your bank account, whatever you ended on the 5th of April, once everything had come in and gone out, you need to put that figure there, whether it's £1,000, £20, 10,000, whatever it is, just put that there. And then I'm going to show you at the end how you can make sure that the work you're putting onto the spreadsheet is accurate according to your bank account. Okay, so that's me talking you through the whole sheet. If you have any questions about it at all, please just let me know. If you purchase this template in April of 2025, I do have a free workshop where I'm going to talk you through all of this and help you set up your template for 2025-2026, and we're going to also process your April transactions as well, but that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So let's get started with that. Okay, so what you want to do each month is download your bank statement in a CSV format. That means you're going to be able to open it on a spreadsheet like this, and then it'll be much easier and quicker for you to add this information onto the bookkeeping spreadsheet. So yours may look slightly different to this. You might not have the balance on yours. You also might have a lot more information that we don't really need. Basically, all you need to have is the date, what it was that came in or went out, how much came in or went out. These three are really the important ones. If you have the balance, great. If not, do not worry about it. The only thing that is important is your closing balance, and you will be able to get that from your bank account anyway. So don't worry if you don't have that. So the first thing I would say is just grab all of the data. And then if you go to data and sort, you want to sort it by the date and oldest to newest. Okay, so you really want the oldest transactions to be at the top and then the newest ones at the bottom. Again, it's not super important if you can't do that and you have what you have and that's what you're working with, that's fine. I just like to do it in date order. Then what you want to do is you want to insert a line here. So you just highlight the row, right click and insert, and then we're going to copy the amounts and we're going to paste it. So we're just going to Control C, Control V. I'm just going to change this one to income, and I'm going to change this one to outgoings. Okay, I'm then going to make my outgoings red, just so I am even more clear that this is what has come out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete anything that came in from my outgoings. So any positive numbers, a negative number means that it came out. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And then in my income, I'm going to do the opposite and I'm going to delete any minuses. So anything that came out my account, I'm going to delete from this column. Then what you can do is you can do a sum to add up all of your income and your outgoings. So to do that, you can just type in equals sum, open a bracket, and then you just want to grab the data like that. Or what you can do is you can just go to auto sum and then just drag it up to the top, and that will do the same thing. So here we can see that £4,495 came in as revenue for my business and £2,272.37 came out. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is transfer that 4495 onto my sheet as counselling revenue. Now, you might have bank interest that you want to separate so that you can see, I don't know, 4490 was counselling and £5 was bank interest, something like that. In this example, I just have revenue, like counselling revenue, so I'm just going to not worry about that. You could also separate it into self-pay and medical insurance. However you want to separate it is fine. I'm just showing you the basic way to do it. The next thing we want to do is transfer all of these outgoings onto my April sheet. So what you want to do is you want to put the date. So it was the 7th of the 4th. My date is like the old 2023. That doesn't matter. This is just a test one. And I know that this was for notebooks. So I'm going to put a notebook there. The category for that is going to be physical office supplies. I bought it from Amazon and it was £3.40. Now, important here is to note that even though this is a minus figure, when you put it on the spreadsheet, you want to put it as a positive figure. We want all of the figures that we're putting onto the spreadsheet to be positive, because then, as you can see, £3.40 is going to go here, and then it's going to take away 4495. You can see the sum here, 4495 minus however much my total operating costs were, which currently are £3.40. So we want to change it from a negative number into a positive number. And then I'm just going to go ahead and enter the rest of the information here. Okay, once you have added all of your expenses on, as you can see, I have ignored the salary that I took out for myself because I'm going to put that directly onto the P&L. So 2272.37, so it should be 1272.37. 1272.37, so that is correct. And then if I go to my P&L, you can see that all the information has been pulled here and we have the same number, 1272.37. So things have been grouped together, such as my office expenses online because I had Signable and Zoom, and that's been added together. And if there's anything else, that will also be grouped together as well. So what I want to do now is add on my income adjustment, which was £1,000. Okay, and that is everything that came in and went out of my bank account. But there is no way of knowing if what you have done is accurate unless you do the next step. So as you can see here, I know my ending balance was 2222.63. That was my closing balance when the last thing came out of my account at the end of the month. So I'm just going to copy that figure and I am going to add it to my P&L as the actual balance carried forward. So you just want to put that there. And this should be exactly the same figure. And then you know that you have moved everything from your bank account, CSV statement, onto the spreadsheet correctly, because if there is a mistake here, then you know that you have made an input error or something has gone wrong. So that's why I say having one bank account for your business is really important, because then you know that you're not making any mistakes. Whereas if I also had to pull in extra information, let's say I also on the 30th of April, I also went to Tesco's and I bought some tissues and some flowers for my office. So we can call that like office supplies. And that was under physical. And let's say that was, I don't know how much tissues and flowers would be. Let's say that was £7.50. Okay, so that came out of my personal account, which is a taxable expense. But then when we get to the P&L, you can see that these are not matching anymore because you spent some money outside of your bank account. Now, if that happens, what I would say to you is, let's say you're in Tesco's and you realize that you only have your personal card with you and you want to buy some stuff for your office. What I would say is, that's fine, buy that, keep the receipt, and then transfer yourself, so transfer out of this business bank account the exact amount that you spent in Tesco's on office supplies. So let's say you went on the 30th of April. When you get home, just transfer that amount, £7.50, and then it will be on your bank statement. It will be a transaction to yourself, but you just need to make a note that that transaction was what it was for, and obviously keep the receipt. You can obviously recreate the spreadsheet for yourself. I do sell it on my website, but you can recreate it for yourself or just make an even simpler version, as long as you have the basics of knowing how to track your income and your expenses. It can be really simple, and as you can see, although I sped up a little bit of this video, actually completing this part really would only take you a maximum of an hour each month, and it's going to make it much less stressful for you doing your bookkeeping and your self-assessment each year. Okay, I really hope you found that video tutorial useful and you feel confident in being able to do this for yourself. If you would like to purchase the template that you've seen on this video, I'm going to leave the QR code here, or there will be a link in the description for you, so you can just purchase that now. Otherwise, you know, feel free to create your own. It's very simple to create a template. You don't need to get all fancy with the sums dragging things from one tab to another. You can just create your own more simple version. If you have any questions about bookkeeping, about this template specifically, or just anything in general, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to help you with that. And until next time, thanks so much for watching.